Hello everyone, welcome back to another 40k battle report, 1500 points, with our winner from last time staying on, also cameo of Thora. Hello there. You doing okay? Just fine. So playing on the same table more or less, I had to move some stuff to do unboxings of other things. There's no reason to cry just because I had to move some things. I'll put them back roughly where they were. So we'll take a look at both armies and then we will find out what mission we're playing at deployment. So here we have 1500 points of mostly Primaris Ultramarines that were the winners last time, also this time fully painted though. The list is unchanged. It's led by, sorry yawning at me, it's led by Marnius Calgar, who has 2 lieutenants beside him, who also has a Primaris Ancient who has the standard of the Armor Ascendant or whatever it's called, to give them a better chance of taking one last shot if they die nearby it. We have the Hellblasters with the heavy version of their weapon. Then we have our troop choices, which is 2 Intercessor squads. The front ones have Stalker pattern bolters. The back ones just have normal bolters. Please don't try and sniff my camera, I need it for recording things. Centurion Devastators with Grav Amps and Grav Cannons, Hurricane Bolters. They did very well last time, so we'll see if that's the same here. Redemptor Dreadnought with the Plasma Incinerator underslung Gatling Cannon, Storm Bolters and Icarus Cannon on top. And finally, 2 Inceptor squads who did not do particularly well last time, but will hopefully do better this time. So that is the same list as last time. Let's take a look at the Tau army, which is going to be taking them on. And here are the challengers, 1500 points of Tau, very difficult to fit into the little tray, so apologies for the kind of messy setup we've got here. They are being led by Commander Farsight, almost said Foresight there, backed up by a Cadre Fireblade to give buffs to some Fire Warriors. On the subject of Fire Warriors, there are 3 squads, 1, 2, 3 of 5 with no upgrades that act as our troop choices. I totally forgot to mention for the Primaris army, but same as last time, so they're a battalion. This is also a battalion for the purposes of points. Each Fire Warrior squad is accompanied by 2 gun drones each. Then we have, kind of nestled in there, a default squad of stealth suits, 2 burst cannons and 1 fusion blaster. Behind them we have Crisis bodyguards equipped as you see them, not for any tactical reason, just because that's how they're modelled, and they'll be coming down with Commander Farsight at some point in the battle. Behind them we have 1 of 2 Pathfinder squads with the Sergeant upgrade, whatever the Sergeant's called for Tau, Sushui, something like that. They have Markalites, that's what they're here for. There's the other squad of them there. 2 broadsides equipped as you see them, so twin smart missile systems, heavy rail rifles, and they do have the seeker missiles as well, hopefully going to be taking use of marker lights to make them hit on a higher chance. They also have advanced targeting system, I think it's called, as a subsystem, which makes the AP of all the weapons 1 better. And then finally, the 2 big boys, equipped as you see them, 2 Riptides. So 1 has 2 fusion blasters, 1 has 2 smart missile systems. They both have the plasma cannon thingy, whatever it's called. Subsystems, they have target lock and advanced targeting, so that means their weapons are AP plus 1, or 1 better than whatever they are normally, and also they can move and fire heavy weapons without any penalty to their hit chance. So I think that covers everything. Because it's Farsight, they have a set warlord trait, etc. So we're going to roll for mission now, roll for deployment type, and we'll back at deployment to cover all that and get ready to get started. So, via random roll, we have decided that we are doing Hammer and Anvil deployment, which is on the short edges, 12 inches back from the centre as the limit you can deploy up to. And the mission was Big Guns Never Tire, which I think we have done in the few battle reports I've covered. So this is the one where there's 4 objectives on the map, and also if you kill any heavy support, you get bonus points, along with the standard secondary objectives. I apologise for the light shining, but Slay the Warlord, Linebreaker, and First Blood, of course, as well. So I'll show you the Tau deployment, which is deployed on this side of the table today. We have 1 of the Fire Warrior squads right at the line. That line there you can probably see on the mat itself, that's the deployment line for this Hammer and Anvil. 1 of the Riptides right behind them. Then we have 1 of the Pathfinders next to the Cadre Fireblade, next to another Fire Warrior squad. Also the Teleport Homer is acting as one of the objectives placed by the Tau, so they're holding that. Other Pathfinder squad up there. Broadsides here, right up to the line, Riptide behind them. Not normal for the Tau to deploy on the line, but we did it anyway. Back here, barely legal is their other objective there, because it has to be 6 inches away from table edges. guarded by the 3rd Fire Warrior Squad. In reserve, to come down at some point in the battle, it's Commander Farsight and his Crisis Bodyguards. Oh, little addendum, the stealth suits can deploy outside of their deployment zone. They are hiding behind this bastion here, hoping not to get shot and give away an easy first blood. Maybe gonna chill there for a little while, we'll see later. And this is how the Ultramarines deployment is looking. We have the Deka explosives here acting as one of their objectives, guarded by the intercessors who have the Stalker pattern rifles. On this bit of scenery we have the Centurions, we have one lieutenant, we have the Hellblasters, we have the Redemptor, we have the other lieutenant, we have Marneus and the Primaris Ancient. Then we have the other objective, which is like this communication array thing, which has been deployed in this ruin, guarded by the intercessors with just the normal bolters. And then finally over here we have the scouts hiding in this building. The Space Marines finished deploying first. They opted to go first. That is, unless the Tau can steal initiative. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. That's a 1, so no they did not. So Ultramarines get for turn 1. End of Ultramarines turn 1, and a quick addendum that command points are still being used. The Ultramarine side has 10 because of 3 standard, 5 for a battalion plus 2 extra from Marneus. The Tau have 3 standard plus 5 for being battalion as well. Just because I forgot to mention that when we were getting started. Anyway, most of the Ultramarines decided to stand still because they're still trying this weird gun line that relies on the lieutenants and Marneus giving them rerolls. The only ones that did move, Marneus shuffled slightly just to give his bubble to the units that needed it, as did the Ancient a little bit as well, just in case they die in this next turn. The main move was the Dreadnought to the left there, and other than that, most of the shooting slightly out of range because of the 24 gap. This square in the middle is 24 inches exactly. Grab amps, etc. are 24 inches, so they can't quite reach. Scouts are 36. From there, it's like just at the point of the building there is 36, so they can't quite get a shot in. So the only shooting was the Hellblasters overcharged, the Redemptor overcharged, and they all opted to shoot into the broadsides since they were in the open over there. And they managed to kill one. 6 wounds done, and they have done 1 wound to the survivor, who you can't see his wound dice because it's on the far side of him. But he stayed, however, 1 broadside down, that's quite expensive. That was the only casualty though, so now we're going to move on to Tau turn 1. End of Tau turn 1, and that was a rather embarrassing display of pretty bad shooting. It's been a while since I've seen the Tau do that badly in a shooting phase, despite having quite a lot of shots available to them. Anyway, we'll start over here. This Fire Warrior squad moved up. These stealth suits kind of went around the side of the bastion just to make sure not too much could see them. One of the Riptides followed behind. The Riptide fired its ion accelerator. The cell suits at the front could reach the intercessors. They fired their burst cannons. Together, they did manage to kill one and put 1 wound on another. They passed morale, but they're fine. Or rather, so they're fine. Over here, this squad of Pathfinders tried to use their marker lights on the Hellblasters. Literally all of them missed. Not a single hit. This Fire Warrior squad shot into the Hellblasters. This Pathfinder squad put their marker lights into the Hellblasters, got 2 of them on it, which means they reroll, or anyone shooting at them rerolls 1s, and Seeker missiles can fire at their full ballistic skill. The broadside shot at Seeker missile, shot at smart missiles, shot at railgun, whatever it's called, at the Hellblasters. Seeker missile missed, smart missile systems missed. Thankfully, the D3 or D6 wounds from the railgun itself managed to take out a single Hellblaster. The morale passed, and the Hellblaster did not get the strength to fire one last time before he passed away, sadly. This Riptide also moved up, decided it wasn't fair that he could shoot through this building with his big gun. Smart missiles shoot over cover though, so they shot at the Hellblasters as well, and did nothing. It was a horrific turn of getting a lot of hits, failing wounds. I mean, the Space Marines did not have to roll many saves at all, so they're going to get to strike back pretty damn powerfully at the top of their turn 2. End of Ultramarines turn 2. There was a little bit of shuffling down this end of the table. The scouts moved along as they're aiming to go to that objective, so this intercessor squad can move and kind of support the right side. This intercessor squad, they shuffled slightly, which meant they were hitting at -1 because they're using the heavy versions of the stalker rifles. Nevertheless, they did fire into the stealth drones, sorry, the stealth suits, and did nothing to them, so they're still perfectly fine. The Centurions, sadly, they moved so slowly, they only had enough movement to scale down the ladder there, and they couldn't do much else. If you look at this view from above though, 2 of them could shoot kind of diagonally into here, and they did so with their grav amps. They got 4 wounds in total, I think, or 3, I guess, and the only one drone was able to jump in and take the shots. So Fire Warriors lost 2, one of the drones died using savior protocols. They passed morale with exactly a 7. Let's see. Over here, the Hellblasters overcharged, meaning that 1 exploded, sadly. That was a 1 followed by a reroll of a 1. Thanks for nothing, Marnius. So he exploded himself. They passed morale. They shot into the broadside because the Redemptor Dreadnought overcharged as well with his big gun. Shot into it, did not wound it. He shot his Stormbolters and Icarus Cannon into the Fire Warriors over here. Right there, did nothing to them. However, the combined fire, the Hellblasters managed to get the final wound required. The broadside died, so that is him gone. So that is first blood to the Ultramarines. Also, the broadsides are a heavy support, so that is extra points. Thanks to Big Guns Never Tire. And now we're going to move on to Tau turn 2. End of Tau turn 2, marker light wise to start with. First of all, the Pathfinders on top of this building put 4 marker lights into the Redemptor Dreadnought over yonder. The Pathfinders who missed entirely last turn managed to get 1 marker light on the Hellblasters this turn. As it turns out, it didn't matter because nobody shot at the Hellblasters, but still, they managed to get 1 on. This broadside, Riptide, shifted to the left, overcharged, so it did itself a wound, so it could use its heavy 6 profile instead of heavy D6 on its gun. Shot its smart missile systems as well into the Redemptor Dreadnought. The Redemptor Dreadnought also took some fire from the Fire Warrior squad here just because they couldn't really shoot at anything else. And he is down to 8 wounds. It hasn't affected his ability to fight yet, but if he loses a couple more, it will. Let's see. Over here, Commander Farsight and his Crisis bodyguards have decided to drop in. I didn't go into detail about what the Crisis suits are equipped with when we were doing deployment, other than saying they're equipped with what they have, but you might not be aware of what those are. So the far one here is a plasma rifle and a flamer, 2 fusion blasters, and 2 flamers. And then Commander Farsight himself has a plasma rifle and his sword. They all shot into the scouts, killed 2 of them, just realised didn't do the scouts' morale, I think. So, yeah, if anything happens, we'll cover that as an addendum. Over the other side of the table, this Fire Warrior squad shuffled to the side to try and avoid getting murdered. This Riptide moved up, as did the stealth suits. The Riptide did not overcharge, but fired his 2 fusion blasters and plasma accelerator into the Devastator Centurions and killed 1. They passed their morale. He is out of range to roll for whether or not he got 1 last shot off, sadly, barely. Misjudgment on Space Marine's behalf there. The stealth suits fired 2 burst cannons and a fusion blaster into the intercessors, did absolutely nothing, and that was despite using some reroll points as well. It was very embarrassing of them. So that's as it stands. We'll see what happens in Ultramarine turn 3. End of Ultramarines turn 3, and after a low killing game thus far, things have really blown up now. Both Inceptor squads opted to come in. 1 landed in here, unleashed their barrage of fire into the back of the Pathfinders, easily wiped out the entire squad. The other Inceptors, not too far away, jumped down here, shot into the Fire Warriors guarding one of the Tau objectives, wiped them out, including the drones as well. And over here was Clash of the Titans. The Redemptor Dreadnought shot everything into the Riptide, left him on 5 wounds, successfully made a charge, and his Redemptor Fist puts him at 14 strength. Any wounds that get through do d6. Only 1 wound got through, as it turns out. It did the 5 required to finish off the Riptide there. Less successful on this side of the table, I must say. The 2 intercessor squads tried to shoot into the stealth suits, only ended up doing 1 wound to 1 suit. They whiffed spectacularly. The 2 surviving Centurion Devastators shot their grav amps into the Riptide. They shot their Hurricane Bolters into the stealth suits, which they have -1 to hit, or rather when people shoot at them. Plus they had -1 for moving and firing, so it was hard to hit. That's probably why they survived as well as they did. This Riptide took some hits though and is down to 10 wounds. That means it lost 3 or 4, I've forgotten now. Over here, the scouts realign themselves as I kick the table by accident and almost destroy the scenery. The Ancient moved back, the Lieutenant and Marneus all moved back. The ones that could shoot did so into the Crisis Suit bodyguards and put one of them on, pardon me, on 1 wound. Other than that, they're fine. So that's as things stand. Things are finally getting bloody, and now we'll see how the Tau can retaliate in their turn 3. Here we are at the top of the table at the end of turn 3 for the Tau. The Pathfinders, Fire Warriors and the Cadre Fireblade all shot into this Inceptor squad, rather than using marker lights or anything. Killed one, did 1 wound to another. Their morale held, however. They opted not to shoot at the Redemptor just because they didn't have much chance of doing any damage to it, honestly. This Fire Warrior squad moved back and also shot at this Inceptor squad and did nothing to it. Over here things were a bit more successful. The Stealth Suit shot everything into the Intercessors and managed to kill 2 of them. Their morale did hold, but I don't think they're close enough now to the objective to be classed as holding that. This Riptide fired both its fusion blasters and its standard profile for its big cannon into the Centurion Devastators, killed another one. The Sergeant survived and his morale did not break. And right at the far end of the other table, Farsight and his Crisis Suit bodyguards moved up. The Flamer could only reach the Lieutenant over there, so he attacked him with his Flamers, got him down to 1 wound. The others shot into the scouts, as did Farsight himself. Didn't do anything. They whiffed quite badly, unfortunately. Also, they tried to charge right at the end there and did not make that gap. That's about 6 or 7, and they got a 5, unfortunately. So, we're now going to move on to turn 4 for the Ultramarines. End of turn 4 for the Ultramarines, and they got some work done this time. This Interceptor squad moved up, absolutely wiped out this Fire Warrior squad. This Inceptor squad moved up, fired into the Cadre Fireblade because he was the closest target, and killed him with ease. The Redemptor Dreadnought opened fire on the Fire Warriors, took out 2 of them, plus the drone took a hit. The other one rolled a 1 and could not take a hit, so it's still there. Pathfinders were unaffected. Over here, the surviving Centurion did not do much at all, really. He used his Hurricane Bolters on the Stealth Suits, he used his Grav Amp on the Riptide. The Riptide is down to 9 wounds, but didn't really scratch it that badly, honestly. That also included some fire from the Hellblasters. I think the Hellblasters might have been the ones to get the wounds through. Yeah, it was a Hellblaster. And the Lieutenant that's sitting there just took pot shots as well and did nothing. Over here, the Stalker pattern surviving Intercessors and the other Intercessor squad, which is moving up to claim the objective again. They shot into the Stealth Suits. 2 Stealth Suits died. The final one did stand his ground, but he's the only one left, the one with the Fusion Blaster. Now over here, we got some good work done. The Snipers and Marneus and the Lieutenant fired into the Crisis Suit bodyguards. The Snipers got 2 mortal wounds through on 6s to wound. Killed 2 of them outright. The other one had 2 wounds remaining. The Lieutenant charged first and he died on Overwatch to the Flamers of the Crisis Suit. They couldn't charge Farsight directly because he was further back. Then Marneus charged without worry of an Overwatch. He got in. Farsight decided to declare a heroic intervention using his special rule, which gives him 6 inches to do it, to stop the Crisis Suit from getting smacked by Marneus. In return, Marneus smacked him, got him down to 2 wounds. He fought back, didn't do anything to him, and then the Crisis Suit, actually no, he got 1 wound on him, I think. Then the Crisis Suit got lucky with his rolls, got Marneus down to 6 remaining. It's not looking good for the Tau, but we're going to play this one out and see how it goes as we move into their turn 4. End of Tau turn 4, not looking good for them, but they tried to scrape something back. The Pathfinders moved down and shot into the Inceptor squad nearby, as did the surviving Fire Warriors and the drone. They managed to kill 1 and leave the other one alive, his morale held. Over here, the Stealth Suit managed to kill 1 Marine before making a successful charge, and then in combat they just swung wildly at each other, doing absolutely nothing. The Riptide managed to miss with his weapons, however he made a successful charge just to try and keep himself alive, just in case something else happened. In combat he did 1 wound to one of the Intercessors here. They did nothing back. Normally he would be contesting that objective, but because the Ultramarine army is battle-forged, troop choices take priority if they're holding objectives still, so that means they're still holding it because they're right there. And over here, perhaps unsurprisingly, Marneus took 2 more wounds from the Dawn Blade that Commander Farsight uses. In return, he smacked him. I left those dice there just to show that's the total damage he did. He did 11 wounds, and Farsight had 2 left. So normally we would go to turn 5 when we do these. It's pretty much the writings on the wall for the Tau, so the Tau are going to concede. We're still going to add up the points anyway, although it is counting as a loss for the Tau regardless, but we'll be back in a second with the final scores. So a very disappointing showing for the Tau there. Could it be that Primaris Space Marine lists are actually good? I think it's more to do with, again, Marneus and Lieutenants creating this bubble of very potent firepower for the early game. That said, as far as poor tactics go, the Tau didn't really need to charge as hard as they did. They could have tried to force the Space Marines to come to them. Granted, it would have made this very weird stalemate given that the Space Marine list is very gunline focused as well. So it was to make something happen. It was a difficult one though, because again, if they just kind of stared at each other, Tau would have had the superior range, but they wouldn't have been able to put out that much firepower over a big range. Either way, it is a Space Marine victory because of the concede, but points wise it is as well. The Space Marines hold 2 objectives, which is worth 3 points each I think, or 4 points each for holding them. They got First Blood, they got Slay the Warlord, they got Linebreaker, bringing their total to 10. The Tau have Linebreaker, they hold 1 objective, and that is it, I believe. Yes. So I've marked that they have 5, so yeah, I guess holding the objective is 4. So a comfortable victory for the continued Ultramarine Primaris list. It's going to stay on as the winner. We're going to mix up the battleground next time, maybe get the other mat I have out, change around the scenery a little bit just to make it more interesting again. And they'll hang on as the winner. Might eventually have a losers bracket match for the Tau list and the Death Guard list, unchanged, to see how they do against each other. We'll see. I hope you enjoyed though. Bit of an abrupt one because of the turn 4. Essentially it was heading towards a tabling, so there was no point continuing. I hope you do enjoy these though. Please do show your support, as they are rather time consuming to make. But thank you for watching if you have, and I will see you in the future for hopefully some more Warhammer 40k battle reports. Ta-ta for now.